It's your responsibility now that you're an adult to keep yourself safe. It is your responsibility now that you're an adult to protect yourself. Your parents, whether or not they've done that, their role is done. And we can reflect upon the ways that they failed us. We can reflect upon the ways that they helped us. We can reflect upon the way that we were raised. We can even grade them even. It doesn't take away from the fact that it's done. So you then have to get to the point where you have to raise yourself again, teach yourself the things that you weren't taught, be the parent that you never had. And it doesn't even mean that this means the thing is, most or a good amount of parents will get it wrong. They could have done so much, but then they couldn't have done whatever. They can't do everything for you, and that's what becoming an adult does. And the thing is, most of the time, it's why I would recommend my video, Healing Your Inner Child. I put it in the cards. Most of what our parents are going to teach us is to conform, to make our lives quote unquote easier, to conform into whoever it is they want us to be. Your job as an adult is then to discover who it is that you are. Who are you? What is it I want to do? How am I going to sustain myself? What is it that makes me happy? And what are the standards I'm going to create for myself from now on? Your parents can't teach you everything. Your parents can't give you everything. And when you get to mourn everything that you lost, when you get to mourn everything that you could have had, and you see people who have had that, then you can then provide it for yourself. That is what being an adult is. So if you go on and then complain about how it is hard for you to get into relationships, how it's hard for you to provide for yourself, how it's hard for you to sustain yourself because of them, of course you can go into that and you can vent, and that's okay. But what is the action? How are you moving forward? How are you going to get to the point where you take that action? Even if your parents had provided everything it is that you need, how are you going to create that for yourself? You have to implement the things that you're taught. You also have to implement the things that you're teaching yourself. Your parents aren't there all the time. They can't be there for you all the time. As an adult, it's your responsibility to take care of yourself. As an adult, it's a responsibility to maintain a relationship. As an adult, it's your responsibility to be accountable for your actions towards other people. What you do is not what you do. What you say is not what you say. How you act is then how you act. How you come off is then how you come off. Now, this is where everything you've learned, or everything you're learning becomes something that has to stick, because you get to the point where you become either a lonely adult, you become an adult that's miserable, you become an adult that can't sustain themselves. And I'm talking about the interpersonal things. I'm talking about like we're all fucked in society, and I'm not talking about like money struggle mindset. This is a healing channel, but it gets to the point where you then you can if you can and you should, where it is applicable, point all the blame towards them that is obviously deserved. But what are you going to do now and move forward? The best thing, the best way to start this is processing. How are you going to process everything that has happened? How are you going to process everything it is that they have done that they didn't do, or that was not? How are you going to process it? Then what are you going to do about it as a second step? What are the actions you're going to take towards living a life and doing the things that you want to do, being the person that you want to be, living the life that you want to live? How are you going to do that? What trauma does is it will teach you to minimize the dangers of life. You must unlearn this as an adult. This is a very horrible world. People like us on this channel, people who watch this channel, who have CPTSD, who have gone through a loads amount of trauma, we know this already. A lot of people are not prepared for this. They're not prepared for how horrible and ruthless and terrible this world is. Some people are on the better receiving end of it, but then we all have tasted it, and we all will taste it as we enter into adulthood. All the things that we were not prepared for, that our parents had not prepared us for, or that they didn't have the time to, or they either just didn't want to, depending on what had happened, is the thing that you have to get to the point where, how am I going to protect myself? What am I protecting myself from? Who am I protecting myself from? And it's one thing that has been so important for me becoming an adult, not even like situations where I think I was not prepared for. I make a habit of protecting myself. Physical violence was something that happened to me a lot growing up. Being hit, being physically abused, also being sexually abused, but more being physically abused. It happened growing up. And I'm not even pointing it towards like parents, I'm moving it just around, whether it's bullying, whether it was teachers, whatever. I'm not pointing it in that direction. It happened. And for me, the way that I protect myself, I don't like if you hit people, I don't like you. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's you hitting your child, you hitting your dog, or in cases like controversial, but this is my opinion. When it's a woman hitting a man, don't hit people. You should only hit people when you're defending yourself. The only time it's applicable to ever raise your, and that's just my own standards of protecting myself. Don't. And my other way of protecting myself, no conservative nada. Religion like played a huge part in ruining my self-esteem. I You can practice it and you can do it on your own, but don't preach it to me. Don't talk about I don't want it around me. I don't like it in my space. I don't like it. It's my way of protecting myself. And just being in positive energy. No one dragging me down. No one breaking my spirit. No one telling me and bringing me down. I can only do that for a check. And honestly, what check is worth like my own clarity and mind peace? You know what I mean? It has to be a large check. That you have to protect yourself. Understand first, what am I protecting myself from? Create a space for yourself where, okay, this is my space. You respect it. I don't care who or what you are. I don't care who or what you did for me. You respect me and respect my space and respect that I'm a human being. The thing is, we never give children that, and children deserve that more than anything. Children deserve to understand the fact I'm a human being. I can make my own choices. I can make my own autonomy. Of course, my parents should be an authority over me, and it's not saying that I don't believe that children should not respect their parents. I'm African. You have to respect your parents, but you also, as a parent, have to respect the fact that your child is autonomous, and you have to make space for their dreams, even though you're trying to protect them. I definitely sometimes can understand. Like, I study music. I have regrets studying music. Let's say my mom has said you have to study law, but you know what? You can then pursue music after. That even makes sense. But it'd be like, you will never do this. You can never do this. First of all, who the fuck are you? In the sense, like, I'm a grown ass adult. How do adult parents tell adult children who the fuck to marry? Who the fuck are you? And I'm so glad I was raised in a kind of environment where I was allowed to think for myself and in the grand scheme of things or in a few aspects make choices for myself because who the fuck are you? I need to get to that point. And that's what adulthood is. You need to leave that childhood mindset of what people think influences what I'm supposed to do. People ask me, oh, how do you not care what people think? You're gonna care what people think. As humans, you care what people think. I care what people think less than a good amount of people, and it will depend on things, for example, whatever. I can not care what people think where I'm very cross. I don't really care. I'm like, when it comes to sexuality and all that, I don't care. But for me, I'm like, I like to look good and present myself in a very specific way. So I just like looking very pretty. Some people can like go to certain aspects and like maybe go on a date without makeup or something or go. If I'm going somewhere where I'm going to be seen and interact with people, I'm wearing makeup. Because if I'm going to the grocery store, if I'm going anywhere where I don't have to talk to anyone and like there's no like I'm not gonna be treated in a way where like I will get special treatment for something like oh helping someone to help me get something or interacting with someone for quite an amount of time, then I don't give a fuck. I may not even brush my teeth. But if I'm gonna interact with someone and speak to them, obviously like not but like you know when you need to get something from like the grocery store, you just need to get it before whatever. Maybe you even want to get the toothpaste you run out of, you know what I mean? But the point is, you know what? I don't even care what you think. But the point is, you have to not allow it to control you. Don't allow the opinions, the ideas of people to control you. And that starts, and the reason it starts, because it's something that I realized really early. Parents don't teach children to think for themselves. You need to learn to think for yourself. You need to learn to make decisions for yourself. They're adults to this day, adults, grown adults. Their parents still tell them what hairstyles to wear. And the reason this happens is because you feel like you need their permission to live. You don't need anyone's permission to live. At best, if you need anything's permission to live, it's God or universe or whatever. And at that point, they can kill you or take you any moment. So you don't even need their permission to live because they don't need their permission to take your life. So just live your life and then whatever happens, happens. But the point is, you need to become the point where you, because there's certain decisions that people make. 20s are the most important part where like the decisions you make will affect your life for the rest of your life. Whether it's who you marry, who you have children with, who you have whatever, 20s and 30s, that's that point where you have to decide to be autonomous. For me, personally, I would rather suffer the consequences of decisions I made than the ones that were made for me. Obviously, everything that's meant to happen will happen, but like you listen to women and people more specifically in their who are older, who like their pressure to marry someone, or pressure to do this, or what's to call back the society, or what's to call the things around them. Listen to them because when they're 50 and 60, they're usually very regretful. Protect yourself. Protect your wants. Protect your dreams. Protect yourself. Avoid toxic relationship. Stop staying where harm is constant. You're an adult now. You don't have to stay where harm just is in the air. It's like you breathe it and it's around you. You don't. I made a video on how the Grey Rock method or whatever, but as an adult, I think it's even if it is happening and you can't change where it is you live, you need to start making plans towards like and nothing will motivate you than escaping your abuser or an abusive system. Nothing will motivate you to get to work, get to the point where you can sustain yourself and then you don't have to live or be surrounded by people who control you or tell you what it is to do. Nothing motivates you more. Don't allow it to make you feel defeated. Allow it to motivate you towards progress. And sometimes you have to take risks. For me, certain aspects, I had to run away from home from certain aspects to get my parents to be on board with certain decisions I was going to make with my life. You have to get to that point and let them know you're fucking serious. I'm fucking serious. This is my life. I'm taking back my life. And I don't even mean it for things as flimsy. Obviously, tattoos and piercings are cool and whatever. I mean decisions like who you're going to marry, what you want to do with your life. Like, that's yours to make. Like, and time for those things are extremely valuable. The most heartbreaking videos I see and most wholesome at the same time are videos where they're like, oh, I married this person and I was miserable for 60 years and I met the love of my life in an old person's home. Imagine they met earlier. You've wasted almost 50, 60 years of your life doing something else when you could have been doing something, whatever. No, don't even let it be a possibility. Absolutely not. No, take your life into your own hands. And it starts from not letting harm and don't let it get to you. Don't let it get through to you. You can let it get to you, of course. Things get to you. Don't ever let harm get through to you. I don't care what it is they say. I don't care how it is they say it. Don't let it get through to you. Don't let it actually start dictating the things that you're supposed to. That's why they tell you you have a plan, you have a dream. Don't tell anyone, don't tell anybody, because obviously you can still tell them if you're strong minded, but people's words are like spells in your mind. They will rewire every good thing you've built. They will rewire all the confidence. They'll rewire all the hope you've built and turn it around because of their own limitations. Never protect yourself. Protect yourself. There is a lot of psychological, like, what's the word? Psychological, like, rape or psychological or like just psychological like infiltration in the most negative possible way of people's minds or people's like souls that we don't talk about enough, from the things you watch, from things to what's it called, and it's the best way to protect yourself. For me, I'm an echo chamber. My phone died mid recording and I lost a bit of footage, but I don't know how I placed the camera, so if it does look a bit different, I apologize. um no is a form of safety. No, no, I don't want to. No, I will not. No, this is not. No, no, no is the best way to hold those accountable. Those telling someone, the first thing I say when people are going into relationships or just navigating relationships as an adult, say no and look at how they respond. The way someone responds to your no is definitely like an indicator as to how they will value you towards the like the remainder of whatever relationship that you have. No, it's like it's so powerful. And advising it for women because we think consent is just in sexual moments between two consenting adults. No, it is. in every form of being, because consent and allowing consent to exist, allowing consent to be a part of your relationship is letting your partner be autonomous, and every adult's right is autonomy. Every human's right is autonomy, but as an adult, it's even more, I wouldn't say more deserved, but it's even more expected. That's the best way I can describe it. Listen to your intuition. It's a built-in system. It's like a compass. Your intuition is your compass towards life. You cannot go into relationships or go into all of these things or problems that people are navigating as an adult if you can't get to the point where you listen to yourself. I have a video about that, your intuition by Shiana Saboteur. I put it in the cards for you to watch. Hi guys, this is the end of the video. I'm so sorry it was short, but like I think the video like dying but kind of put me off, but I hope that you kind of got a lot or got from this message, like from the first few minutes or first chapters of the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. It's your medicine woman, Asha Lovely Day. I'm telling you and enforcing you, making sure you have a lovely day. Subscribe to my Patreon if you're interested. Thank you so much for watching. I love you.
The Medicine Woman.